Zoe from Rossmönster Van / Rossmönster Rentals. I want to take you on a tour of one of our VW retro mods. This one is named Joey. We have all different names for them. This one differs slightly from our other vans, and I'll point out the differences as we see them. Basically, this serves as a van tour for people who are curious, but also as an instructional how-to guide for our renters, so that people can know the tips and tricks of the interior. Usually my van tours I do in a full circle, so follow me and I'll show you where the hookups live. Starting on the driver's side of the van, this little panel is the set of hookups. So if you're at a campsite where you have hookup capability, this is where you will find everything you need. I'll walk you through them. There are 3, but the center one is screwed shut. It's inoperable at this time. They do switch positions on the different vans, but there will always be one that's not functional. So this guy over here is where you would plug in for shore power. We include the extension cable that you need within the van, and you'll find that in the rear of all the vans. So if you need to plug into shore power, you plug in here, and then I'll show you where on the control panel you'll hit it to charger. Like I said, this guy is inoperable. This is where you're going to fill up your water tank. So every time we send out our vans, we fill up the 13-gallon, 50-liter water tanks and have them full for you. But if you have a longer rental or if you have a lot of water usage, you're going to have to refill it yourself. Joey differs from the other vans in that you need a little adapter that's found in the glove box. It's a little green adapter about yay big that you pop on here, and then you can fill with any standard hose. We also include a little hose if you need one to fill that up. The other vans that we have, you can utilize gravity fill, any kind of hose, or we include a funnel if all you have available for the fill are larger jug type waters. So find a friend, insert the funnel, and fill her up. That's it for the hookups. Follow me around here. So we're moving to the rear of the van. Here's another small way in which Joey differs from our other vans. The other vans have like a cute little shelf right here. This one has it over here to store both the extension cable here and then the extra hose, which Joey has. The other vans have the funnel. So outdoor shower hookups. This lovely hose with the extension here. This plugs right into the outdoor shower, right in the middle there, and you twist it on. There's no hot water, it's just cold in here. It can live right there when you're not using it. I'll show you on the control panel, but if you do need to use the outdoor shower, you just have to switch on the water pump. These are cute little blinds. So they're found on 3 sides of the van. This Velcro strip here just attaches to the other one on this side, and then there's a little anchor point here to keep them from bowing. The ones on the side windows just have their own Velcro strip, so it's 1 per window there. Should you need to access it, which is always a possibility, or if you need to go to a shop and access it, the engine lives under here, under this secret drawer. So FYI, but knock on wood, during your travels you will not need to access that. This is the rear bed platform, and I'll show you where the rest of that is as well. And then that's really it for the back, except for this cool secret little drawer here. We keep a hide key there, and during your rental period we'll tell you what that code is, just a set of numbers so that you have an extra key should you need it. So this part of the van obviously is the good stuff. So come on in. I'll show you in this pop top. So the way to open this van, it's quite easy, but we do recommend recruiting your tallest friend for the job, at least while you get the hang of it. You insert your hands into these little latches, and you'll feel latches right there. Basically what you're trying to do is release that little pin. So pull towards yourself. You hear a loud click. We recommend using first the roof to push up a little bit, and then you reach back and grab this bar and push with all of your might until it advances forwards. So I'm going to show you how to pull down the pop top here. It's basically the reverse of opening it. You're going to grab this bar, this horizontal bar, pull towards you. You can do like a rough little pull down with this canvas. The most important thing is that you've got these 3 pinch points. So you want to make sure there's no canvas stuck between there and there, and also at the front. The easiest way to do that is to pull the canvas in between this triangle of bars and do a little roll up If you have a friend who can help you, they can go on the outside of the van and just make sure there's no canvas remaining. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to do as a one-person job. Then the most important part is to make sure that you hear the click of this latch. So put your hands back in these latches, you can pull down. Feel free to use your entire body weight to pull down and hear that click. Don't drive away without the click. I'll go through basically the kitchen area, even though it's all the same area, and then I'll talk about the bench seating back here. So this lovely Lagoon table mount is a really nice option. You can essentially mount it in two different places. So there are 3 connection points here, and they function kind of like wrenches. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If you need to get yourself more room to do the lefty-loosey or righty-tighty, there's a button that you press and then you pull out the handle and continue loosening or tightening, whichever you want. It's easiest if you lift off the tabletop before you try and move the table mount. So when you're swapping to the next table mount, for some of the Vanagons, you have to lift the bench seating a little bit to give yourself enough room to then slide this little mount in here. Perfect for an outdoor happy hour, or if you just want to prepare food outside, have a little table for whatever. Sink is here, a little cutting board, colander insert, and then the sink drains directly down to the bottom of the van. There's no gray water tank in there. Should you be somewhere where you don't want your sink water to dump onto the ground directly, there's a little plug inside, so you can plug that up and then release it when you're ready to dump. Up to you. This induction burner, this functions off of the house batteries and uses the inverter to do so, and I'll talk about that with the control panel. But essentially there's a power button. We recommend using the heat function. It will help you to select either 0 through 10. We recommend starting at 5 and then kind of slowly working your way up. You should be able to boil just about anything at around 6, 7, 8 max. We recommend not using it above 8 just because it's a 2,000 watt system and this guy uses 1,800 watts. Something to pay attention to while you're using the induction burner, it's drawing off the same setup as the outlet, so if you have anything charging, just make sure to unplug those before you try and use the induction burner. The pots and pans that we include in your rental are induction friendly, so no worries there. If you're bringing your own pots and pans, just make sure they're ferromagnetic, but ours are super awesome, so you don't even need to. So one potential issue you may go through with the system is that your induction burner while in use could trip the system. You would notice either your induction burner or your outlets aren't functioning as they normally were before, and if that's the case, you're going to go into this electrical cabinet. There's something called the GFCI. It will be labeled with a gift tag. It's a little black box with yellow wires coming out of it, and the label will tell you to press the reset button and wait 15 seconds. You'll hear it click. They should start working again. So that's one potential fix if you're experiencing any issues. For your rental period, you should have utensils, citrus squeezers, all sorts of kitchen supplies in these lovely drawers. Mugs, plates, cups, all the things. We try and be really thorough about what we send you out with. This is the cute little fridge here, and then there's a little freezer up top in the little drawer there. I'll show you under the sink area. There's more storage. We'll have more pots and pans in there for you too. This is the tube that drains directly to the bottom of the van from the sink. And then we have this cute little trash can there. This can be removed and basically placed anywhere else if it's getting in your way. We'll move over to the bench seating and I'll show you how that works. This varies slightly in each of the different vans, but Joey has a little notch here, or a little knob rather, where you can release the bench seating. There are little handles underneath, and you just pull it towards you, and then it'll lie flat. Your bench seating has 2 lap belts. If you can't see them and you need them, you can just open up the bench seating and pull them through towards you. To put it back into place, it's just the exact opposite, and you'll hear a little click. Inside of the bench seating in all of the vans, we keep our safety equipment. So should you need to switch a flat tire, your jack is in there. We've got a little triangle if you need to put it on the side of the road. So we'll move over to the control panel here. This guy is your LED lights. It's on a dimmable knob here that does both the front and back lights. I'll show you those if you can see. This switch over here, the inverter is referring to the upwards position, off is the neutral flush, and then charger is down below. You will switch it to inverter if you want to either use your induction burner or your outlets. If you have it off, it means you're not using anything, and this depressed low position for the charger is if you have it hooked up to shore power if you're at a campsite with that accessibility. So off for nothing. Inverter if you're using the induction burner or the outlets. A little tip to remember that is that if you look under the sink, you actually see the induction burner cord plugged into an outlet. Off is if you're not using anything, and charger is if you're plugged into shore power at a campsite or in front of somebody's house. This light just lights up your control panel there, so nothing too fancy. Your under cabinet lighting is there, and it's helpful for either when you're cooking or if you're just hanging out in the van and need some extra lighting in addition to the LEDs. This is your fridge. You can keep that on at all times. This guy is your water pump, so either to use the sink or the outdoor shower in the rear, you're going to turn that on. Joey is special in that it has this red button. It's called an ACR. For this red ACR switch, we recommend keeping it in off at all times unless your battery monitor gets to about 50 to 60% and you're driving during the day, in which case you can flip it to auto. You will not keep it in auto for more than 4 hours if you're driving, because doing so will cause damage to the batteries because you'll overcharge them. And the only time you'll switch it to the upwards on position is if you know you need to jump your car battery from your house battery. For all vans other than the Joey, which has this red ACR, if you're looking at your Victron energy monitor and it's going below 50 or 60%, just turn your car on and it'll start charging up. Leave it on until you get to the closer to 70, 80, or even 100%. So the majority of the vans other than Joey can be jumped if you need to. You can jump the car battery from the house battery. So car batteries are found right here in the rear of the passenger seat. And we provide jumper cables should you need them. You hook up here as you would in a standard vehicle to your house battery back here. And I'll show you where that lives. Red to red, black to black, just as you would normally jump them, and then disconnect just as soon as your car is jumped. This guy is the Propane Heater. It's found only in 2 of our Vanagons, Joey being one of them. To use it, you open up the propane on the driver's side of the van. Open that slowly and then turn this to this blue flame, and then this is essentially your thermostat, so you can dictate how much or little heat you want. Just be wary, the heat does come through under where your bench seat is, and so you want to leave this area clear so that you're not lighting anything on fire in this circumference or heating your leg up a little bit more than you have intended. We can swing up to the front of the van. I'll show you most of our gas caps. You require a key, and it's typically the ignition key to open up the gas cap there, so just an FYI. Most of your safety equipment will be found in the glove compartment. So we typically provide you a box of extra fuses. The fuses live to the left of the driver's side there if you need to replace them. We provide an extra inverter fuse as mentioned before if you need to replace that, but give us a call first. Joey, we have the little adapter for the water container, and then should you need to replace the inverter fuse, there's the appropriate size there. You'll find the registration for the van should you need it. Hopefully you don't get pulled over. Swing around a little bit and I'll show you there's this little pin if you want to twist the front seats around. So there's a little pin here, it's circular, you just press down and then use a little elbow grease to swing the chairs around. If you need to change a flat tire, stuff happens, it's right underneath here. There's a tray that holds the spare tire, and our manual describes how to release that and pull out the spare tire from there. Just pop your flat back in that tray and make sure it's secured before you drive away. Some of our vans require special lug adapters. So these ones are the standard ones, but occasionally they'll have more of a star pattern. If you see a star pattern, check the glove compartment and there's an adapter key so that you can get those lugs off, and then just put the lugs that you removed back on with the spare tire. If you do need to change one of your tires, there's a little spot that an arm of the jack can go in to keep everything stable. So make sure it's going through that little hole. Coming through to the driver's side, this is your light switch. It's depressed fully to the right now, which means that it's off. When you click it into the neutral position, those are your daytime driving lights, and then clicking it all the way over to the left are your nighttime lights. Brights are standard like a normal car where you turn them off and on like that. And then just make sure that you turn them into the off position when the car is parked so you don't draw on the battery. For these vans, some of them, the speedometer and odometer are no longer functional. They had a great life and they just don't feel like participating anymore. You can go ahead and use this ultra gauge screen to help you. This is actually the most accurate way for you to see your speed and your RPMs and your engine temperature anyways. Occasionally our renters have reported that that screen will turn off. If that's the case, the plug is just in your bench seating. There's a little black cord and you can plug it back in. Sometimes when people use the bench seating for storage, it gets knocked out. So no big deal, plug her back in, she should turn back on. In terms of engine temp, we want you below 235 degrees. In terms of RPM, keep it under 4,000. The ultra gauge will alarm if there's anything going on, so if you get any trouble code or pending trouble code, give us a call and we'll walk you through how to check out what that is. Another important feature up here on the dash, this little light will shine bright yellowish orange, and that's actually your check engine light for the engine conversion. So for sure, pull over and give us a call if that's happening, showing anything there. To the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see all of the fuses. These are vintage vehicles and occasionally the fuses blow and need to be replaced. You'll find all of the appropriate replacement fuses in the glove box should you need them, and there's a fuse guide in your manual if you need a little help there. Probably you will not run out of washer fluid during your journey, but you never know how many bugs are gonna go on your trip, so filling that up is just this cap right here, and be sure to just throw that mat down when you're done. The temperature controls are here. They're notoriously funky. You can read about them in your manual and how to best use those. The radio, you can hook up Bluetooth or use our red cable if you have an iPhone. Feel free to peruse the radio channels and all of the fun places that you're going. Should you need it, there is a little compartment behind the driver's side, and we typically keep an extra belt here. We have some engine oil, transmission fluid. The only caveat there is that we prefer if you don't add any extra oil to our engines. They like to be run super lean, so especially if you're taking it into a shop and they look at your dipstick, right on that edge of okay is where we want it. Please don't let the mechanics add any oil, and don't add any oil yourself before calling us to talk about it. It can actually damage the engine. Thank you for following on for our Vanagon tour, and feel free to comment and like and ask us any questions that you have. Thank you.